Hey guys, it's Vernie here. Another Tuesday, another Vault video. This is Season 3, Week 16. And we've got a lot to go through, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. We got every single character involved last week, including the Forbidden Warlock, who we haven't touched all season, so even the Warlock's going to end up with something. Now, the Paladin, I just did a heroic run. I actually did like a sail run, which wasn't super fun. Honestly, the sail was pretty shitty. We had some very questionable carries in the raid, and it took us like 3 hours to finish, which is twice as long as it should. So I kind of regret doing that, but we're probably going to take a socket out of the deal. I can't imagine taking anything else. I guess I could go ret and try and get a signet brand for funsies, but it's going to be heroic loot, so it kind of doesn't matter. We did not run a key. At this point, we'll just get sockets for off specs. We'll go ahead and spec ret, and almost assuredly we'll be taking a socket. I have branch, ashes. I mean, honestly I don't even care to look if ashes are good. I don't play ret. Still don't have the legendary. I've got all the mats in the bag, but I've been very stubborn about buying it just because I don't play ret, you know. And maybe the DK gets it this week, and I can just move all the materials over to him and get it for him. But all right, next up we have the priest. I think every single character has an 18 again, except for the warlock. The warlock just did 11. I didn't want to bother my friends with carrying a 430 rat to an 18, so we did a bunch of dungeons though. I mean, mostly we did like the DH, the druid, and the mage, but everyone's got at least one. What does the priest even need? Myth chest, myth weapon, myth boots. That's it. That's basically it. And we'll just stay a shadow. Fortunately, we won't be able to take a socket this week. Those are legs. Crit mastery. I mean, nah, we'll just take the tokens. I mean, it's next week we can get a socket. Cool. Nothing huge, but it is nice to start building sockets once because we've got the lariat. We still need one for the ring and one for the belt, so not the worst thing. Alright, next we got the shaman. Again, 118. I think he's 484 now, so we're pretty much done on him. Not a whole lot to say when it comes to him. He did end up with myth tier chests last week from the raid, so that was nice. I think he's still the character that has the least amount of tier, though, so we're going to want to get some tier on him. Yeah. Legs and gloves would be huge. Shoulders and helm would be okay. That's really it. We just rip it. Yeah, we'll stay Ellie. Why not? Maybe there's some gimmicky Ellie trinket I can take. Whoa, okay, that is extremely gimmicky. Yeah, we're not taking that. Okay, that's too gimmicky. That's not a great trinket for any of the caster specs. So, tokens it is. Boom. 3 characters, 3 sets of tokens. Alright, Evoker. Another 18. Single dungeon. Trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, at this point I have like so many characters, I have forgotten who needs what until I actually look at their gear. I think the Evoker's also like 484, so we're reaching completion. We got a myth chest. We have myth gloves. We have full myth tier, actually. We don't need any more tier. Myth offhand. Myth neck. We have myth ring, myth trinket. So honestly, our Evoker is like pretty much done. We just need to grind out aspect crests. We're missing a bunch of aspect crest stuff. And we'll open as preservation. I guess if we get a trinket, then I'll just take tokens, whatever. 480 boots. I believe I have. Or do I have myth boots? I actually might not. There's a conversation to be had about taking, like, technically the acidic hailstone treads are bis for me, but if I want to run group content, I should be using Sansa Khan. I mean, maybe that's probably too much thinking. Why don't we just take the tokens and just get on with it? Yeah, we need a socket for the belt anyway. Whatever. We don't care about boots. We We do have like a champion version of those, but eh. So 4 characters, 4 tokens. Alright, this character actually did some stuff. The Druid, I did 120 on. I decided to get a random portal, and it was a struggle, but we did it. And then I did a bunch of 18, so we'll have 3 Mythic Dungeon slots. I was kind of just playing this, again, in case our guild has still not found the Druid, so I thought there might be a weird contingency where I end up playing the Druid. Also, this has been like a long-standing character I've had since the first month, and it's still 481, so doing more content on it is not necessarily a bad thing. What do we want? Gloves, legs, bracers, and belt. Probably Feral, in case I get like Midas or something. You don't need Boomkin stuff really from dungeons. Okay, 483 Crit Mastery Ring. The stats are pretty awful for all the specs. 480 Crit Haste Belt. It's okay. Oh, Myth Leggings. Okay, I mean, obviously we're just going to take the Myth Leggings. Like, yeah. Which is great. I don't want to take more tokens. I already have a socket, and I have 8 tokens sitting in the bag, so Myth Leggings are perfect. And I think we have enough crests to upgrade those to 489, so that's sick. That's really good. 482. Okay. Finally, a character got to take a piece of gear. He only had to run 8 dungeons for it. Alright, next to the Monk. Monk is another 18er. Solo. I think we might need to start cutting these videos up just because the amount of time we actually think we spend more time in load screens than we do looking at the characters because we have so fucking many to get through. The Monk sitting at 481. We need Myth Gloves and a Myth Ring or a Myth Midas. Myth BRH neck. That's it. So really odd small pieces. We're going to stay Windwalker. Chest. We already have chest. Okay, we're taking tokens. That's fine. Whatever. Tokens are fine. Which means next week we'll be able to take another one and put it here in our 480 bracers. So, by the end of next month, I mean, I think every character who needs sockets will have them. Alright, DK, I did 118. I also did a Farrak kills, but I didn't do any other bosses. I jumped straight into Farrak. Did not get the legendary. I think we're on kill 7. So we're like about halfway there to quote-unquote guaranteed legendary. I might keep doing it. We'll see how I feel. I think this is the character I'm most likely to craft it on. I do play Blood every single season. So I wouldn't mind getting it. 482. Need chest and shoulders are the big ones. Boots would be okay. That's kind of it. And we're going to open as Unholy. I guess a weapon would be a very, very, very small upgrade, but weapons are weapons. 480 bracers, that's where our embellishment is. Okay, we're taking tokens. So that's what, 7 characters, and we've taken 6 tokens? Woof. Alright. Next is the Mage. We did a lot of content on the Mage. We did 5 Mythic bosses last week, so we'll have 2 Mythic raid slots, and then we did a bunch of 18s. I've just been kind of trying to get a hang of the Mage, so I played a lot of Arcane. It's okay. I did alright. Definitely want to do some more this week just to see how I feel about the spec. I'm still putting Mage pretty high up there as like a contender for next season. 481. Need Myth chest, shoulders, or helm. A Myth weapon would be... Well, we have a Myth one-hander. We'd love a Myth Iridol, which is a really outside shot. In terms of raid, what can we get from the raid that we even care about? Staff is okay. Not a lot, honestly. I guess Pips. We would take a Myth Pips. That's really all we want to see from the raid. No, it's not a Myth Pips. 483 chest. I feel like I should take that one. Ooh, and it's haste crit. Honestly, pretty good stats. Music box, no. Well, dude, what is a row of trinkets? I've never seen straight trinkets, honestly. Gnarled Root, Corrupted Starlight, and Lady Waycrest Music Box. None of these are like that good. I would have preferred a mirror. Or even a vessel. A vessel would have been pretty solid, but... So Crit Mastery, Myth Legs. We're not taking those. We already have Myth Legs. I think we actually have a pair of those 480s in our bag. We do. See, we're definitely taking the chest. That's a good pickup. Chest is the biggest, stat allocation. There's way more stats in a chest than Embracers, for instance, so that's very solid. And we're like right at soft crit caps. That's pretty good. Okay, I'll take that. So doing raid was worth it. Alright, Demon Hunter next. At 418s. Having a lot of fun as Vengeance right now. It's pretty bonkers. It's fast-paced. Does a decent amount of healing. Crazy control. Really good damage. So I think even at 475, I mean, the keys are just so easy. I feel like right now keys are easier than they've ever been, which leads to a lot of like IO creep. People who typically don't really do keys are getting 2,500 pretty easily. But maybe I'm just like in my own little bubble. Now, what do we want? I mean, obviously myth tier. Any myth tier or myth weapon. This guy has not taken a myth piece yet, so we'd love to see any of those. Okay, that is myth tier. It's gloves. Haste crit, pretty good stats. Or we take boots. Well, boots are our embellishment slot. We can't move that, so it is going to be gloves. Now, do I have any aspect crest? I have a few. Not enough. Well, that's okay. We can work on that later. Oh, cool. 477. It's reaching that 480 mark. I think by next week we'll be there. So we're probably going to craft another piece or two. Hunter did 4 dungeons. I did some Worm Crest with the boys. And then I did 118. So basically just hoping for something good from the myth slot. I think it's going to be the same story as some of the other characters. Tier. I think our lowest piece is Helm. We have a 460-something Helm. So a myth Helm would be sick. This character I've been having some fun playing survival still. I tried a key as BM, and I remember why I found it really boring, so I only did 1 key as BM. Let's go ahead, open her up. Maybe we'll open as BM on the off chance we get a bow or a gun. $480 gloves. Those are an upgrade. $470 boots, which are one of our embellish slots. I mean, I think we just take the gloves, right? Like, it's a myth piece is a myth piece. Cool. Haste Mastery. Not great stats for survival. But, good stats for BM, potentially. What, 476 I think this will push us to? Yep, nice. Oh, cool. So we took, what, myth tier gloves on the Demon Hunter and the Hunter. Alright, next we got the Warrior. Warrior did a full heroic clear. No axe, obviously. And 118, so we'll have 3 heroic raid slots, 1 myth dungeon slot. This character's like 471. I think it's one of my lower characters now. We've been playing mostly Prot, and I'm still not a huge fan of Prot Warrior. Like, it does fine. You can tank keys fine, but I don't know. It doesn't have oomph to it, Like, when I do big damage as a Demon Hunter, I feel it. When I Divine Toll my Paladin, I feel it. My Warrior, I don't feel any of that. So obviously we'd like to see some myth tier that's not an Helm. Verse Mastery Neck. That's not bad. 476 Chest, which we already have. 470 Bracers, that's where one of our embellishes is. And Pips. Okay, I need to actually glance at this. I don't know how impactful Pips is. I don't think, do Warriors care about stats that much? Oh, Pips is good. I'm checking the DPS specs too, just like the off chance. Pips is pretty good for both Fury and Arms. Better for Arms. What about Prot, though? It's very mid for Prot. But we're using Might of the Ocean and Ember of Nullification. And Pips is probably better than one of those. Pips is definitely better. Okay, I think we just take the Pips. Like, the neck is not big. If it was like a 480 tier piece or something, where stats would be more important, sure. But we'll just take the Pips. And it has some DPS application as well, so I'm fine with that. Honestly, I feel like I've gotten decently lucky at the end of this tier with Pips. I think I have 5 or 6 ults now with them. It's a pretty solid trinket for most classes. Alright, I think we got on the Rogue next, which did a couple bosses in Heroic. I think I have 5 bosses in Heroic. I did some random pug just to do some Wormcrest and get a chance at trinkets. I did walk away with a Bandolier, which is really solid for Outlaw. Was hoping to see the Serpent Idol, we didn't. So we've got a Bandolier now, which is nice. 468, we're a little low. And we did 118 and then some more Wormcrest. We're hoping for like Myth tier, a Myth weapon. We're going to open as sub in case there's a good dagger I could, you know, use for both specs. Okay, 467 belt. 467 cape. Good stats. 1 track up. I have a champ track. This is hero. 480 boots, that's where our embellish is, so that's disappointing. And a 470 mirror. Oh, man, that's pretty bleh. Wow, that is a really uninspiring vault. If this had been Myth, I guess we could have taken it. Maybe we should have done some more 18s. Any merit for a socket? Not really. I mean, I guess we just take the cape because it's 4 item levels and a slight stat upgrade. God, it's so boring, though. Fucking 16 agi. Like, oof, that's so low. But whatever. 468. This character will get there. I've been having fun as Outlaw. Again, we're trying to play around with Rogue and Mage primarily because we might actually play those, so I'm trying to mess around with those just to see how I feel. Lastly, we have the Warlock. We did 111. It did not go well. I mean, we finished it, but I feel like my performance was garbage. Demo is like the in spec right now, and I have not played demo since probably before Legion. So we did not do very well. I mean, 86k. I guess we're 430. We're not optimized at all. We don't have tier set. Not having the tier is pretty bad. But it felt awful. I was not a fan of demo. Maybe I should learn Affliction just to meme around. Honestly, we'll just any tier piece or weapon would be great. Oh, that's a wrist. Well, whatever. It's item level. We take it. You know, 33 item level could be worse. Of course, it's not like the most or the least impactful piece, but you know, 439. That character will go up eventually. Let's just double check. What are we looking at here? Oh, I'm an idiot. I can't see the affixes because this character didn't do a high enough key. Let's get on an actual character that did a key. We'll get on the mage. Looked like it was Fortified Afflicted. Let's see what the third affix is. I guess I can briefly talk about my season so far. I mean, so far, so good. I'm really enjoying Mythic Plus still. Still doing, you know, 20 to 30 keys a week. I'm having a lot of fun. We're at 568 keys for the season. We've eclipsed Season 1. We're way ahead of Season 2. So, definitely just going to keep pumping out those keys and just having a good time. So, affixes. Fortified, Afflicted, Raging. Pretty midweek. You know, Fortified plus Raging can be really difficult. It's not very fun. The only AoE soother in the game is still Evoker, which is really lame. And there's some trash that will absolutely destroy you. I'm thinking like Waycrest trash, like multiple witches, multiple Thorncasters. No, thank you. Awful. Awful combo. Afflicted, also pretty terrible if your hybrids don't cast their spell, you know, or don't spec into Decurse or Depoison. And then some classes can't interact with it at all. So, not a great set of affixes, but nonetheless, should be easy enough to get your weekly 18s or 20s done. Probably wouldn't recommend pushing, but that'd be up to you guys. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully your vaults were good. I'll be streaming a couple days this week. Not as much as normal because I'll be out most of the weekend, but feel free to come check me out, twitch.tv/Veronix. And we'll hope to see you there, and we will see you next time. Peace.